Yeah, I don't want to feel like a script, but you know what I'm saying.
Know,
Just
cool.
yeah.
I just talk, man.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you good. Now it's perfect.
So cool. I'm just gonna introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name Carter Cornish. I'm 23 years old. Right here from Baltimore, Maryland. 23. Just had a son in September. Today is May 19th.
Make your first lap.
2014. It's about 8:52 p.m. You know, just reflecting on my life and how I got here to this moment, man. It's I guess it wasn't really a long story, one of the typical ones, but I decided to change. You know, growing up in the city, you tend to fall into the pattern and the cycle of what's going on around you, and I kind of got caught up in that, and I just didn't. After a while, I didn't see that it was for me, and I got out of it. After, you know, a couple years of trying out the drug game and watching friends get locked up and come home, have kids, not be there. And, man, then, you know, one of my real good friends got killed, like a real close homeboy. You know how you lose, you hear about people getting killed, and you're affected by it. But when it's one of your good friends, it feels different. But, you know, that didn't really stop us from selling drugs and nothing. We still wanted to do it, and then another friend got killed, and then it's like, it seemed like this was the norm, like this what happens. Like,
where that car just turn, make a right.
We just drinking our own poison. So it almost seemed like suicide. So at some point, I really thought about suicide. I didn't think about taking the action, but it just felt like something that we do. It just felt like something that we were setting ourselves up for, to be killed selling drugs. So I'm like, you know, man, I connected with something. When I graduated high school, I'm like, you know, man, that ain't for me. I started seeing my friends get killed and watching people cry. And something that really impacted me was like, when one of my friends would get killed or something would happen, they would go to jail. The reaction of their parent, their mother, like the person that loved them the most and that they loved the most, seeing that person hurt, I connected with that, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want my mother to be crying when I'm gone and nothing, you feel me? I want her to be happy whenever. So I'm like, you know, what is it that make my mother cry? What is it that will make her cry? And I started to not do those things that will lead up to death or jail. So I'm like, you know, what is it that will make her cry? That's what I don't want to do. So when I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
You can pull over wherever.
I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. And I'm like, you know, I go to the military. At least if I die, they'll send my mother a check or a flag or something. But if I die out here on these streets, you know, your homeboys say promises that they can't keep up because they stuck in the cycle. So I'm like, you know, something got to change. You know, something got to change. Just so happened I was venting one day on Facebook, and the guy by the name of Munir Bahar hit me up. He came through on the chat on the Raise It Up Dirt Bike page. You know, a lot of people know him for the dirt bikes, but what they don't know is, like, yo, this is one of the best role models and leaders of this city. Like, this guy, he do what he need to do with the youth. He do everything he need to do, and he don't look for no support. He get it done. He don't make no excuses. He get it done. So he took me under his wing and he showed me another way. Feel me? But it was up to me to change. I had to change. In order for things to change, you have to change. So from there, you know, I found some things that I wanted to do on top of the things that I wouldn't do to make my mother cry. I found some things that I could do to make her smile. Like, you know, get a job. I finished school, so I got my diploma. She was happy with that. So I just started furthering myself in life, doing some personal development, get my mind right. I got a job. I started meeting some people. I met somebody who was doing photography, and he was talking about how he traveled the world, a guy named Holden Warren. And, you know, I got a camera after I was working. I took my first 2 checks. I ain't buy nothing with them. Saved up and got a camera. And after that, man, I just started taking the art serious, and it took me to some amazing places. I met this gentleman behind the camera, my man Jay. And yeah, now we got here, man. It's a journey. Life is a journey. It's all into what you make it. But I'm creating my journey, right? I'm creating my tomorrow right here today. I know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow ain't going to just happen to me. And that's what most people got to do. You got to create your tomorrow, because if you just let it happen, you're going to end up in a place where you unhappy. You don't like where you at, who you with, what you doing, where you living, what you eating. You're going to end up a very unhappy person. You gotta connect with your higher power, connect with your God, whether it's through religion or whatever. You gotta have God there with you. You gotta have and put Him first. You gotta believe. If you don't believe, you done lost. If you don't believe, you'll go for anything.
Yo, it's a blessing, man.